Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar of Swido's integration in 2021, review and sneak peek at Q3. My name is Joe Sandgaard. I'm responsible for the marketing and partnership at Swido, and I'll be serving today as your host. Before we actually get started, there are a couple of housekeeping rules. First of all, I want you all to know that this webinar is going to be recorded. We will mail all of you the link for the recording, I believe somewhere mid next week. And if you have any questions, then you can use the Q&A down here to ask your questions, and then we will end at the end of the presentation. We will attend and look at your questions and hope to give you an answer. Just to keep it short, I would like to introduce to you our main speaker of today. That is Jeroen Myers. He's a co-founder and managing director of Swido. He has worked as Jeroen, yes, there he is. He has worked as a marketing consultant and a brand marketer. And in 2006, he started his own boutique agency called The Marketing Shop. During that, he made a switch to advertising technology, and Swido was presented in 2011. Jeroen, please feel free to get us started right now, and good luck.
Thank you, Gerald, for the introduction, and welcome everybody at the product webinar. Today, we'll get you through some updates on the integration side of Swido. So some integrations that we recently launched and some sneak preview at integrations that are upcoming. But first of all, maybe not all the participants are active or are Swido customers, so a short introduction about our tool. So what is Swido? Well, we provide advertisers and online agencies data and insights to make clear choices, so to evaluate and to talk about and discuss online marketing results together. And the practical means that we use for that are, of course, reports and dashboards. Maybe not all people know that Swido was actually an acronym for show what you do online. So that's the meaning of the word, the brand name. So in that, there is hidden that we are a reporting tool. So show what you do online, present it to your customers or to your colleagues. Short introduction about the platform. We provide many integrations, data integrations with different products, but with our tool, you can also white label the reports, customize them to your needs, and of course, share them with your colleagues or your clients, and a lot of other nice features to make it up to your liking, including the multi-language features and other features. We'll go a little bit more in depth later, but today is not the whole tool is in the picture, but it's mainly the integrations part that we will focus on. At the moment, Swido already integrates with quite some data connections. Most of the advertising networks we connect with, a lot of PPC, pay-per-click networks we already connect with, but of course we are constantly improving those integrations and expanding and adding new integrations. That's a central theme of today, adding the new integrations and give you an introduction about the integration that we already launched a couple of months ago. Go a little bit more in depth in that. Early this year we released Snapchat. HubSpot is already released in spring this year. We added GA4 support. Soon we will launch Search Ads 360 from Google and Pinterest. And later in the year, we plan to release SEMrush and Amazon Ads. So today I will go more into detail about all these integrations. And the first one is Snapchat. So for those who don't know what Snapchat is or what you can do with it or how you can help advertise on it or help your clients advertising on it, Snapchat is a very popular messaging tool. It's aimed at the target group a little bit younger than myself. My kids use it a lot to connect with their peers and with their friends. And you send each other snaps. And snaps are small, short messages that they send each other. And the snaps also disappear, I think, after 24 hours. And they can also create stories. So combined snaps can create a story. So if you want to target these younger age groups, the millennials, other age groups, then Snapchat can be a platform of your liking where you can advertise or help your clients advertise. Snapchat is growing very rapidly. I think at 21, they have about 450 million active users. USA, France, UK. So it's really a great network to talk with those groups. You can create all kind of fun advertisements there, including lenses. So this is my amateur Swidoo lens that I made. Just a small fun. It's not to be meant seriously, but in the advertising user interface, you can create lenses. And of course, Michael Kors did it much better. With their lenses, you could actually test drive all the sunglasses that they have. So that's a nice illustration how you can use these lenses and really make them use. And with Snapchat ads, you can promote your lens. So for brands, it's a good way to advertise your products. So Swidoo integrates with Snapchat. So business opportunities are to create a business profile and to create those visual ads, lenses, videos, all those kind of visually appealing things are easily promoted on Snapchat. And even Snapchat has a Shopify integration that you can create a shop sort of within Snapchat so people can buy those products. But of course, you can also redirect them to the website. You can make in-app calls, etc. So there are a lot of actions that you can create in those Snapchat ads. Snapchat has about 2 billion in ad revenue, what I saw from their recent listing. So it's a quite extensive ad network. So how do we integrate with Snapchat at the moment? We integrate with Snapchat ads. And we have sort of all the core metrics available in the Swidoo integration. So campaigns, ad sets, the ads itself, and we support all these conversion events. And you can break down in demographic and lifestyle breakdown dimensions. So quite powerful integration in Swidoo. We are enthusiastic that we launched it, and we hope that people are going to actively use it as a integration. Example report, how can a report from Snapchat look like? So we added some KPIs here, and we will also provide this example report as a template soon in Swidoo, so you can make use of that template. But of course, as you know, in Swidoo, you can also change the templates, or you can create your own templates. And this is the Snapchat template, but of course, you can also mingle different data sources in one report. You don't have to have one data source in one report. You can combine those. Another new integration that we already launched earlier this year is HubSpot. What is HubSpot? It's a big suite of products with which SMBs and agencies can promote their products. So it's one combined suite with customer relationship management. It's a CSM. It has a marketing tool, an email tool. So it's really sort of the Swiss knife for growing your customer base. And HubSpot has more than 100,000 clients. So we thought that it was an important integration to add to the Swidoo suite. So we launched it, and it's already really successful. A lot of our clients use it. We support at the moment 3 categories. The most important categories, we think, is the deals category. So there you can really see, you have insights and widgets on the deals. Emails, and the emails category is a little bit more comprehensive even, because we have even more metrics and dimensions than only emails. And there's a general reports category in Swidoo. Because as you maybe know, that in Swidoo you create a widget, and in the widget you choose a category, and then you have your dimensions and metrics available. So for instance, in the marketing category, we support these kind of dimensions, sources, landing pages, web pages, and you can then add metrics to those dimensions and create your widgets a table, a graph, what you want. It's very flexible. In the sales category, we have more in-depth information about, for instance, deal amount, the pipeline, because what I said, HubSpot is a powerful CRM tool also. So if you want to sort of closed loop report, you maybe as an agency, you provide traffic for your clients, but also you want to close the loop and say, hey, how many deals were actually realized? Then combining, for instance, Google Ads with our HubSpot integration, yeah, you can provide the 360 overview for your clients. Example, HubSpot report, and of course, we will also provide this template in the app soon. A integration that we will launch soon is Search Ads 360. It used to be known as double-click search, but it's rebranded by Google, I think 2 years ago, to Search Ads 360. And it's a powerful report, or not reporting platform, it's a powerful ad platform to create search ads across multiple search engines. The target group is larger agencies and advertisers. And why should you, for instance, use Search Ads 360 compared to Google Ads? Well, Search Ads 360 is much more flexible. You can automate a lot more in Search Ads 360, and you, at a more granular level, you can measure more results also there, and you can also use it better to get overviews if you have a lot of locations, or you manage, for instance, your search campaigns across multiple search engines. Normally, if you would advertise on Google Ads, Microsoft Advertising, etc., you could, you should recreate those campaigns. Of course, you can export them and import them, but with Search Ads 360, you have one interface to manage all those search campaigns across these different search engines. So it's used by big agencies or large clients that have multiple locations, and it's a requested feature in Swidoo. We have those clients that requested this integration, so we launch it. We will launch it soon. It will be available as a beta integration soon. Example report from Search Ads 360. We always recommend to start your report with some KPIs on the top. Also give an explanation, for instance, with our text widgets that we have, that you can give an explanation to your clients what happened in the reporting period. And of course, in other widgets, you can drill down to different details with all the widgets that we have available. We support a lot of widgets and dimensions in Search Ads 360, but of course, if you miss certain metrics, if we oversaw some metrics, please inform our support department, and we will try to add them soon. Another integration that will soon be in beta is Pinterest. And for those who do not know what Pinterest is, Pinterest is a visual discovery engine. It's not really a search engine, it's more like a discovery engine. So if you have a certain interest in, for instance, in cooking or in fashion or another interest, you can create sort of pin boards, and Pinterest will give you recommendations and suggestions for nice looking pins. And it's really about the visual, so about the picture. Pinterest has about the same user base as Snapchat, also about 450 million active users worldwide. And the ad revenue is about the same. So these two companies are sort of developing simultaneously, although they are not connected. And Pinterest works very well for if you have sort of a visual product. So it's mainly suitable for B2C, sorry. But of course, in the B2B, if you are creative in B2B, it can also be successful. But there's a lot of consumers there. So this is an example from two screenshots from my own Pinterest account. Apparently, Pinterest thought it was a good idea that I have do some workout on the technical gym. I'm building a house, so some ideas for a house building, but also some nice dumplings are there. And if you click on one of these pins, you can even see the details of the product, and there are call to actions there. So visiting sites or other actions. And in the Swidoo integration, we support those actions. So we support in our metrics the impressions, how many you spend on cost, but also those conversions. This is an example from Pinterest ads, but we also will support Pinterest social, so the organic impressions and visits that you can generate with Pinterest. So you can create a nice report combining those two organic and paid listings, for instance, and report them to your management or to your clients. For later in the year, we have two integrations planned. One of them is SEMrush. SEMrush is a big company that was recently listed at the New York Stock Exchange. They have a lot of clients worldwide that are active in online marketing, of course, and they are mainly known for their suite to optimize SEO and PPC campaigns. And we will integrate with them somewhere in the fall of this year. And another addition that we thought was very good for our clients is Amazon advertising. Of course, Amazon is a big advertising platform where you can advertise for products. It has its own advertising suite, and we plan to integrate with that later in the year. Some other updates, what I mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, that we already support Google Analytics 4. Small introduction about Google Analytics 4. Google Analytics 3, or Universal Analytics as it's also known, is still active. You can still use that, but at the moment, if you create a new Google Analytics property, the default will be GA4. We recommend, and I think a lot of Google also recommends, and agencies recommend to run in parallel for the time being, but it's recommended that you already start to use GA4. Now, what is GA4? Small introduction. It's completely revamped Google Analytics suite that has a lot more features than the previous Google Analytics suite, but it also has a sort of different way of looking at web traffic, because GA4 sort of supports both web and app traffic, and it looks more at the life cycle of the customer. So it doesn't really look anymore at, for instance, page views or bounce rates, but it looks more like what is the behavior of a user in an app or in a website. And new features that will be available in GA4 is also, for instance, predictive metrics. So if you use GA4 in an app, or for instance in Swidoo, you can also see user behavior. And of course, we will, as it will be available, we will try to support those very interesting dimensions and metrics as much as possible. So we already have it. You can already use it. We are constantly improving this because it's new, and Google is also adding new dimensions and metrics to this API, this connection technology that we use. So we're constantly improving it, but we already have it supported. So we advise you to test drive it and use it for the new Google Analytics properties. Some metrics will not be available in GA4. That's not something that Swidoo did, but that are metrics that are simply not available anymore in GA4. So if you look for a bounce rate, for instance, it will not be available anymore, but other metrics will be. So take a look and play around with it. Some words about the recent things that happened with Apple and other advertising networks. As you may have seen, Apple introduced what they call the app tracking transparency. So, and I saw it also on my own iPhone. If you're now going to, for instance, Facebook or Instagram, these apps are obliged by Apple to ask permissions to track your behavior. And the predictions are that only a small percentage of people will accept that and give permissions to track. So the result will be that a lot of this data from app tracking will not be available anymore. And that's important to know for advertisers and in online marketing, as we all are, that in some areas, less data will be available. So, and some data will be aggregated and will have less granularity. So Swidoo we did some preparation work for that, so we are fully compatible at the moment with what happened with the APIs in Facebook and Snapchat, for instance. We wrote some help articles about it, see them in the app, also with some change logs. But for instance, it has some effects also to this Swidoo Facebook integration that we had to remove, for instance, the 20-day window attribution because it's not supported anymore. But please contact our support department if you are looking for certain metrics or you want some more in-depth explanation about this. But be aware that we still fully support these integrations as much as possible. But sometimes you find some less granular data in the app. So, summary. We already launched some new integrations early this year and more are coming soon. So check them out. When you miss metrics or dimensions or have any other questions about these integrations, well, contact our support department. On the lower right-hand side, there's always the button to start a chat with our support department. Know that you can combine data sources in one report. So I now showed some examples about data sources in the report, but you can combine them and create your own templates and create your own favorites there. There's also the custom metrics feature available for boutique plans and higher, and that will soon be available for all the plans, where you can combine metrics within one data source. So you can also test drive that. If you want to have new integrations soon, you can join our beta program and just contact our support department and say you want to be enlisted in the beta program, and then you are the first to have access to these new integrations. Of course, in a beta, sometimes there can be little bugs, etc., because we are still test driving it. But if you are fine with that, I think it's a good idea to join the beta program, because then you can already use it and test drive it also for your clients. Templates and default widgets will be added for all these new integrations, so you can get speedy up and running with these integrations, but also create your own templates or change them to your liking, of course. And always, our support department is available for you if you have any specific other questions. Now I hand it over to Gerald to see if there are any questions from our attendees at the moment.
Thank you, Jeroen. Yes, it looks like we already have a question. The question that we have, it's about, are there plans to add an integration for the trade desk?
What we always do when clients ask us for an integration, please list it with our chat with our support department, because we collect all those requests and we look through them and see what the impact will be. And once we add them, we always will contact you. Even if it's 1 year later, we will contact you that we have it. So the trade desk, I don't know how high it's on our list at the moment. I can check later. But if you chat with us in the support after the webinar, we can go into contact with you on details. But we're familiar with the product, of course. But at the moment, I'm not sure how high it's on our list.
Okay. Another question is about how we decide on actually which integrations to build and which features to develop. You already said something about it, like just send us a message to our support and ask what you want us to build or to integrate. Can you tell us a little bit more about the process?
Yes, well, it's sort of a combined effort of our product vision. So what we want to be as a product, the requests we get from our clients, and the impact that it will have. So we always try to sort of mingle that in one basket and make a decision about that. So we try to support all the major ad networks, of course. We focused a couple of years ago mainly on PPC, but at the moment you see that we are adding also SEO, CRM, mail to those integrations. So we want to expand, of course, in that. And maybe it's a good thing also to mention that we also have a customs integrations functionality. And we have a Google Sheets integration. So if you are missing an integration and so it's taking too long or it's not on our roadmap at the moment, you can use our Google Sheets integration, with which you can also automate data into Swidoo. And we have a custom integrations functionality. So we built a sort of a technology that our clients can use, or our technology partners can use, to get data into Swidoo. So please also contact our support department on details about that.
When you talked about the custom integration part, does that come with any support? What do you have available to assist people actually who wants to build the custom integration?
Yes, good question. So we have extensive documentation about that. So it's well documented how you can get data into Swidoo, and we have developer support also. So we have specific developer support, so we can help developers of our clients to get these connections up and running.
Okay, and is there also a community of developers which people can go to?
I don't think we have that yet, but it's a good idea. So maybe if we can find a way to organize that, that's a good idea.
Yeah, this might be something that we could put on our list to assist people. I've got another question that has to do. It's about combining data sources. You said something about combining data sources in one report. What do you actually mean? Do you mean that you can have more data, for instance, in one widget, and use that for creating one custom metric?
So at the moment, you can already in Swidoo use multiple data sources in one report. So you can create, for instance, different KPIs and sections. You can all use them in one report. At the moment, we don't have the ability yet to combine data within one widget. For instance, adding up costs from multiple ad networks. But a workaround is, of course, that you can easily create KPIs from different ad networks in KPIs on top of the report. But it's a feature that is on the top of our list. So it's on top of our feature list. So I don't have any estimated time yet, but this is a most requested feature. So be assured that we are dedicating resources to that soon.
Yeah, and what do you think? And what is soon? Because you're actually saying it's on top of the list. And are we talking about 6 months, a year, 2 years? Because I think it's something people might be really interested in. Could it be something for 2022, next year?
Sure, it's definitely on the list for next year.
Yeah, okay, that would be great. When I look at this, I've got another question. I know that there is, at Swidoo, you've got a beta program. So people can sign up to become a beta tester. Could you tell us a little bit more about the beta testing program?
Yes, if you enroll in the beta testing program, we don't have specific requirements for volume or size. We sort of welcome everybody that wants to participate. But if you are in the beta program, you get beta integrations sooner than we roll it out massively. Why do we have the beta program? Because you always have to test drive new integrations. For instance, with Pinterest ads, we try to do our work as best as possible. Of course, we test it. We know what the integration should look like, but there can always be little bugs or things that we oversaw. And that's why we use the beta program. So then we launch the feature. We test it maybe 1 or 2 or 3 months. We collect feedback from our beta clients. And once we are satisfied completely, then we roll it out to all the Slido users. In a nutshell, that's our beta program.
Okay. And do you expect something from beta testers, for instance? Do they have to be available for giving feedback, or is it more loose?
Yeah, so of course we welcome all the feedback. Maybe they will get a little bit more messages from us requesting their feedback on the integrations. But yeah, don't expect that we will bombard them with mails or questionnaires, etc. It's more that we appreciate their feedback on testing the integrations, and know that they are aware that it's a better program.
Okay. We've got a new question, and it's about the reporting issues that occurs once in a while. If I look at the question, I still have an outstanding issue about the reporting. It's about Facebook, and it looks like the issue is not solved at the moment. Could you tell us a little bit more about how we actually deal with issues when it comes to third-party integration, and specifically the Facebook integration, because I believe there's a lot to do about the Facebook integration at the moment.
Yeah, so I don't know this specific case. So for this specific client, yeah, please contact our support department, and I'm sure that they will try to solve it. But in general, of course, Slido collects data from third parties. So we try to do it as reliable as possible. So we collect data from third parties and present that in the reports and dashboards. Once such a collection fails, there's something wrong, then all the alarm bells will go off in Slido, and we try to fix that as soon as possible. So bugs we collect, and what we call hot fix, so we fix it right away within the same day. Sometimes our data providers change something and they don't document it, or there's also can be bugs on the side of Facebook or Google or these data providers. What we do then, our developers will list that issue with the data provider. We contact their developers and say, hey, Facebook, we are trying to make reports, but this or that metric is not available, or it gives an error. They respond nicely to that, but sometimes it takes them also a week or a day or whatever to fix it. So we don't try to blame them or whatever. We try to fix it as good as possible. But sometimes it's not within our control to get those metrics working. And recently there were some issues with Facebook. It was in all reporting tools. They had problems with getting data from Facebook. We think it had to do with these changes that Apple made, and that Facebook had to change their API. Maybe they did it a little bit in a rush. So their API, their programming interface, where we collect the data, was not functioning as well as we thought it would be. We tried to contact them, and they are actually working hard to solve it. And I think most of the issues are solved. And if there are now still specific issues, please contact us, and we try to solve them as good as possible as we can. And maybe some of these small issues are still with Facebook or the other data providers. But still, everything we can do is contact Facebook, say, please fix your API so we can generate those reports.
Okay, and it's not only for Facebook, as you said, it's also for other third parties.
It can also be with other data providers, yes.
Okay, it looks like we come to the last question. When I look in our Q&A, I don't see any new questions. It's about Twitter social.
Yeah.
Do you have an estimation about Twitter social? Because we already integrated with a lot of the bigger platforms.
Sure.
But Twitter social is still missing. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, Twitter Social is actually indeed a requested integration. We already, of course, integrate with Twitter Ads. I think we were one of the first that to integrate with Twitter ads. Twitter Social is definitely on our list. The reason why we didn't have it yet it had some technical issues, and it also had some issues with Twitter itself. But I think we sort of solved those hurdles, and Twitter is definitely on our list to add soon. I don't have an ETA yet. I'm just looking at our product manager, but it can definitely it's on our list for any time soon. So maybe in the next product update or next update from our in the webinar or in our newsletter, we can give a better estimation of the arrival of Twitter Social.
Okay, it looks like we've come to the end of this webinar. I don't see any more questions. I would like to thank all the attendees for attending to this webinar, and I hope to see you soon for the next webinar and for the next product update. Just watch your email for an invitation for our next webinar. And if you got any questions, future requests, integration requests, just send us a message via our support channel, and I hope to see you soon next time. Thank you for everything. Till the next time.
Thank you, attendees.